Hulk Hogan was feeling down in the dumps. He had been having a tough time lately dealing with personal issues and feeling disconnected from his fans. As he sat in the kitchen staring blankly out the window, he realized he needed to do something to take his mind off things. Suddenly, an idea struck him. Why not bake some cookies? It had been ages since he had indulged in some homemade treats. He got up, put on his apron, and started gathering some ingredients. As he mixed the dough and preheated the oven, he couldn't help but feel a little excited. This was something new, something different, and it felt good. When the cookies were finally done, he took a bite and was pleasantly surprised. They were delicious. The next day, Hulk Hogan was walking through the park, and he saw Waluigi sitting on the bench. And Waluigi was eating a cookie. Waluigi saw Hulk Hogan and offered him a cookie, telling him they were the best he had ever tasted. Hulk Hogan was pleased that someone enjoyed his baking and asked Waluigi how he got the recipe. Waluigi confessed that he had stolen it from Hulk Hogan and gave it to Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald planned to sell the cookies in his restaurant, McDonald's. In return, Ronald promised Waluigi McDonald's franchise. Hulk Hogan was outraged. He didn't like the idea of his cookies being sold in a fast food restaurant that served unhealthy food to children. He decided to take action and join the Mario fan club. Through the fan club, he met Mario, who offered him a job at his vape shop in the inner city of Chicago. Hulk Hogan was happy to work with Mario and felt like he finally found sense of purpose again. With his newfound job, he saved up enough money to open his own restaurant. Instead of selling unhealthy food, he sold healthy meals and vapes. He named the restaurant McHogan's. He even invented a magical vape that could turn him invisible. One day, he decided to use his magical vape to sneak into McDonald's headquarters and steal back his cookie recipe. Unfortunately, he was caught in the act by Waluigi and Ronald McDonald, who then sued him. Hulk Hogan was devastated, and he was sentenced to jail. However, Mario tweeted for his support, and the Reddit community rallied behind him. They decided the best way to settle the dispute was to have a wrestling match at WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan was thrilled. He knew he had a chance to clear his name and show everyone what he was made of. The match was intense, with Hulk Hogan and Mario teaming up against Waluigi and Ronald McDonald. In the end, Hulk Hogan emerged victorious. The audience cheered, and he lifted up the championship belt in the air. Hulk Hogan had won back his cookie recipe, cleared his name, and found a new sense of purpose. As Hulk Hogan celebrated his victory at WrestleMania, he suddenly heard a familiar voice. It was Ultimate Warrior, one of his greatest rivals, that had run into the ring, challenged him for his invisible vape recipe. Hulk Hogan, his mind was blown. He never heard of the Ultimate Warrior being interested in vaping, let alone his invisible vape recipe. Nevertheless, he accepted the challenge, and the two wrestlers squared off in the ring. The match was intense, with both wrestlers giving it their all. Hulk Hogan managed to get the upper hand and pinned the Ultimate Warrior to the mat. As he celebrated his victory, he suddenly noticed Waluigi sneaking around the ring. Before he could react, Waluigi pulled out a magical coin and slipped it into Mario's coin purse. Hulk Hogan didn't know what was going on, but he had a bad feeling about it. The next day, Mario was shopping for vape supplies at Walmart. He touched the coin and suddenly felt overwhelmed with sadness. He couldn't explain it, but he knew he couldn't run his vape shop anymore. He was too depressed. Hulk Hogan realized what happened. Waluigi and the Ultimate Warrior had teamed up to steal his invisible vape recipe and ruin his life. He knew he had to act fast if he wanted to stop them. He gathered his friends and followers from the Mario fan club and set out to find Waluigi and the Ultimate Warrior. After a long and grueling search, they finally found them in a rundown part of town trying to open their own vape shop together. Hulk Hogan confronted them, demanded they return his invisible vape recipe, and leave him and his friends alone. Waluigi and the Ultimate Warrior refused, and the brawl ensued. The fight was brutal, but in the end, Hulk Hogan emerged victorious once again. He retrieved his invisible vape recipe, left Waluigi and the Ultimate Warrior bruised and defeated. After the intense fight with Waluigi and the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan felt a sense of remorse for his former rival. He realized the Ultimate Warrior wasn't trying to hurt him or steal his vape recipe. He simply wanted to be part of the vaping community. Feeling guilty for his earlier hostility, Hulk Hogan offered the Ultimate Warrior a job at his new vape shop, McHogan's. The Ultimate Warrior was surprised by the offer, but ultimately grateful for the opportunity to be part of something he always wanted to be a part of. Meanwhile, Mario was still in the hospital, struggling with depression after being touched by Waluigi's magical coin. Hulk Hogan was determined to help his friend and former business partner, but he didn't know how. That's when the Ultimate Warrior had an idea. You remember that hookah smoke was known to have a calming effect on people, and thought it might help out Mario to cure him of his depression. Hulk Hogan was skeptical at first, but he was willing to try anything to help out his friend. He enlisted the help of the Ultimate Warrior. Together, they brought a hookah to the hospital. At first, Mario was hesitant to try it, but after a few puffs of the sweet-smelling smoke, he began to relax. Slowly but surely, the depression began to lift. Mario started coming back to his former self. Hulk Hogan was overjoyed to see his friend recovering, and he knew that the Ultimate Warrior was to thank for it. He was glad he had given his former rival a chance and knew that he had made the right decision. With Mario on the mend and the Ultimate Warrior as part of his team, Hulk Hogan was ready to take on whatever challenges lie ahead. Hulk Hogan and his team continued to build up their vape shop, McHogan's. Waluigi had other plans in mind. He had taken back the magical coin that he used on Mario and joined Sonic the Hedgehog's subreddit, hoping to bring back the Sega Genesis and defeat Mario once and for all. Sonic, who was feeling bored with his current gaming options, was intrigued by Waluigi's proposal. The two of them began working together to create a new Sega Genesis console that would be an ultimate rival to Mario's Nintendo empire. Waluigi, who had always been a crafty inventor, had pressed the magical coin into the shape of a CD and created a game for the Sega CD that he believed would make everyone addicted to Twitter. Sonic was impressed by Waluigi's invention, and they worked tirelessly to perfect their creation. They knew once they unleashed their new console and game, they would have a chance to take down Mario and his followers. As the release date approached, Waluigi and Sonic were filled with nervous excitement. They had put everything they had into this project, and they hoped it would be enough to defeat their longtime rival. But little did they know, Hulk Hogan and his team were also hard at work creating their own innovative ideas of products to compete with the likes of Nintendo and Sega. In the end, the battle for gaming supremacy would be a fierce one, with twists and turns no one could have predicted. But one thing was for sure, the gaming world would never be the same again. As Hulk Hogan's addiction to gaming and vaping continued to spiral out of control, he found himself in a dire situation. He had used up all of his supplies for McHogan's. The store was in danger of closing down. The Ultimate Warrior, who had never been a fan of gaming, decided to quit working for Hulk Hogan and open his own vape shop next to the Sega headquarters. He teamed up with Sonic and Waluigi to sell his vapes alongside every Sega unit sold. Hulk Hogan invented a unique gaming chair that also doubled as a toilet, which he sold alongside his delicious vapes and healthy meals in his restaurant, McHogan's. Waluigi and Sonic had been teaming up to compete with McHogan's, but the addition of the gaming toilet chair, Hulk Hogan's business was doing even better than before. However, one day Hulk Hogan sat down in the chair and fell asleep. He was so relaxed that he wouldn't wake up no matter what his fans on the Hulk Hogan subreddit tried to do to rouse him. As a result, McHogan's was starting to struggle and was at risk of going out of business. Mario, who had his own successful vape shop, decided to lend a hand. He started working at McHogan's, hoping to come up with a plan to wake Hulk Hogan and save the business. As a result, Mario had to quit making games, and Sega was winning the gaming war. Mario decided to open a salad bar at McHogan's, hoping the healthy eating might help Hulk Hogan lose weight and wake up. To add some magic to the salad bar, he blew his special vape clouds over the salad dressing. Unfortunately, the relaxed Hulk Hogan didn't seem to notice, and he started to look more and more like Santa Claus. Mario wasn't ready to give up yet, and he even applied for a job for Hulk Hogan as a mall Santa, hoping to earn extra income for the vape shop, restaurant, salad bar, McHogan's. However, they still needed to figure out a way to wake up Hulk Hogan and save McHogan's from going out of business. Hulk Hogan was thrilled to get a job as a mall Santa. He loved the idea of being able to relax in his toilet gaming chair while still being at work. He really enjoyed bringing joy to children who came to visit him. As Christmas approached, Mario noticed that the business at McHogan's had started to pick up again. The salad bar was doing well, the vapes were selling like hotcakes, and with the extra income from Hulk Hogan's job as mall Santa, they were able to keep the business going. But Mario still had one more idea up his sleeve. He decided to create a special Christmas vape flavor that would be a hit with all of their customers. And he asked Hulk Hogan to help him come up with the catchy name for the new flavor. As they brainstormed together, and they finally settled on the perfect name, Holly Jolly Vape. They started selling it at McHogan's, and it quickly became their best-selling flavor. Thanks to the success of the Holly Jolly Vape and the mall Santa job, McHogan's was back in business, and Hulk Hogan was happy to have found a way to contribute to the success of the vape shop without having to leave his beloved gaming toilet chair. As for Mario, he invented a Fortnite rip-off game that crippled the Sega company. Waluigi had developed a crippling heroin addiction from having so much Sega money, and the Ultimate Warrior went to prison for selling vapes to minors. The Sega CD game that Waluigi made ended up backfiring, and Sonic was canceled and went to the forest to become a real hedgehog and was never heard from again. Hulk Hogan, who had now actually become the real Santa Claus, decided to have a retirement match against the Ultimate Warrior to save Christmas and help his friend get out of prison. The Hulkster would end up dropping the title to the Ultimate Warrior and returning to his vape shop, restaurant, and salad bar. The Ultimate Warrior ended up getting paroled and still wrestles to this day. Christmas was saved. As far as Waluigi, he hasn't been heard from since the shutdown of Sega headquarters. Will Waluigi ever come back to foil Hulk Hogan's plans to deliver vapes to the homeless on Christmas? We may never know. All I know is that Hulk Hogan is a real American and fights for the rights of every man. And you can buy the new Hulk Hogan toilet gaming chair if you subscribe to this YouTube channel. That's the story of McHogan's Vape Shop, and I want to say thank you for watching this video. I love you all, and have a very Merry Christmas.